Bill Simmons is back making headlines talking about this Miami Heat team and Eric Spoelstra and Bam Adebayo and Anthony Edwards. We'll break down what he actually said because his quote is getting a little misconstrued on the internet and people are going crazy over it. So I'm here to break it all down on this episode of Heat Digest. So let's get to it and break down Ant-Man to Miami. Now, things are interesting to say the least because NBA Central came out and posted this picture on Twitter just a few hours ago saying, and I quote, Ant Edwards really loves Bam and Spoelstra and his experience with them. Don't be surprised. Story drop. Am I doing it now? And that's the end of the quote. They were quoting Bill Simmons from his podcast from last night or yesterday. And again, it was a picture of Anthony Edwards and Bam Adebayo sitting on the bench for Team USA, laughing, talking, whatever they may be doing. But again, seems like they're having a good time. Obviously, we've watched them play alongside one another as they're both in the second unit for this Team USA team, this Olympic team. And obviously, they've played really well. It seems like there's a dynamic there. There's a chemistry there. But again, it's 2024. And if you're not concerned about your online privacy and security, I'm here to tell you, you absolutely need to be. And I have the best way for you to handle it. NordVPN. By far and away, the best VPN service around, as well as the most effective. It not only is it effective, but it's easy to use. Just a few clicks of a button and you'll be fully set up and fully anonymous online whenever you turn on the NordVPN system. Now, it has over 6,000 servers worldwide, allowing you to connect anywhere, whether it be in the States or over in another country. And again, you could just do that from your own home. Just the ability to do that is otherworldly, as well as being able to connect to public Wi-Fi without having the worry of someone else on that Wi-Fi stealing all of your information. Also, getting around geo restrictions. Like I mentioned, you can connect anywhere in the world with those 6,000 servers when that NordVPN is on, allowing you to get around those geo restrictions. And finally, being able to connect to your favorite streaming services and watching with no buffer, no lag, and making it just more an enjoyable experience watching your favorite movies and TV shows. So again, NordVPN. If you use this link, nordvpn.com/heat, you get exclusive content plus 4 months, as well as the first 30 days being money on a money-back guarantee. So nordvpn.com/heat. Go use it. It's the best VPN service around. What did Bill Simmons actually say? Now, Emo Jimmy, shout out to you on Twitter. He goes on to actually provide the entire quote from Bill Simmons and his podcast, going on to say Bill Simmons on Team USA storylines, going on to say, and I quote, when does the first Ant Edwards really loves Bam and Spoelstra and his experience with them? Don't be surprised. Story drop. Am I doing it or am I dropping it now? And that's the end of the quote from Bill Simmons. He was really just laying out the idea of when are we going to see these rumors? When is everyone going to start grabbing the speculation and throwing it around social media and through the NBA, throwing out the rumors that the Miami Heat are looking to trade with Minnesota for Anthony Edwards because they want a young piece to replace Jimmy Butler with and lead our team for the next 5 to 8 years and be the cornerstone of their franchise, playing alongside Bam Adebayo and Kelal Ware. But again, and obviously we see pictures of them going out. Obviously, it's not them just playing on the basketball court one another. This is Anthony Edwards, Bam Adebayo, and Kevin Durant all standing alongside one another at a club, dinner, whatever it may have been out at the Olympics out in Paris. So again, there's room for the speculation to be made, but let's use our brains here. Anthony Edwards is one of the best players in the world, and he's only 23 years old. 25, let's call it 26 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.3 steals, 46.5% shooting from the field, 35.5% shooting from behind the three-point line. Again, 6'4", 23 years of age. He is in a very small group of people that would be considered flat out untradeable for anyone in the entire league. And he's probably at the top of that line, and the reason I can make that argument is because of his age. Again, he is 23 years old. Minnesota just paid him a lot of money, and again, it's well-deserved. 5 years, $244 million. Again, well-deserved. He's 23 years old. They want him to be the cornerstone of their franchise for the next 5 years at least. I wouldn't be surprised if in 3 years, when he has 2 years left on this contract, and you see he's still averaging 28, 30 a game, 5 assists, 6, whatever it may be. He is going to get another extension from Minnesota. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the way this plays out. It's just so hard for me to wrap my head around the idea that Anthony Edwards would possibly be traded. He's without a doubt, one of the best players in the world. And again, that crop of players is very, very, very small. But again, then Anthony Edwards is higher up on that list because of his age, because he's only 23. He's by far the youngest out of the crop of players we're discussing. It'd be LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, whoever, Jason Tatum. There's room for argument and that debate will never end, and it'll continue to change as the games go by, whether it be Team USA basketball or when we get into the NBA season. So again, there's a lot going on, but Anthony Edwards is going to maintain that spot because he's so young. Even if he falls off just a little bit, those numbers are not going to fall away from all-star numbers or even all NBA numbers. He is a flat-out talent, and the mentality he carries himself with, he's again at the top of the top of the list, the top of the crop, however you may like to say it, when it comes to not even skill set but the mentality. So unfortunately, I don't believe Anthony Edwards will be moved to Miami. This is Bam Adebayo's contract. Obviously, he just got that 3-year extension for $163 million, or $165 million over the next 3 years. Again, or not 3 years, but after his contract ends, the original one, this will then be added to it, and it's a 3-year extension, taking him through the 2028-2029 season before becoming an unrestricted free agent in the 2029-2030 NBA season. So again, we're good for the next few years. We're good for the next 5-6 years here in Miami with Bam Adebayo. But again, the idea of throwing Anthony Edwards in that lineup, replacing Jimmy Butler, who is getting older, and again, would love to retire with Miami, and that would be great. But if we could have him retire and have Anthony Edwards walk into that spot, that would be pretty damn cool. But again, it seems like it is damn near impossible for that to even come close to happening because, again, Anthony Edwards is really in a class of his own when it comes to really what he brings to a basketball team, as well as just how long he's going to be able to do it. Again, like LeBron James is great. Yes, he's one of the best players in the world to this day, despite being 40 years old. We get to watch that in the Olympic Games as he's been dominant. He's probably going to win the Olympic MVP for the entirety of the games. He's 40 years old, but who would you rather have, him or Anthony Edwards? If you're trying to build a franchise right now, you're probably going to go with Ant because, again, you're going to have him for at least 7 years. You're going to think he's going to play till he's at least 30, maybe 35. That's 12 more years in the league. Again, he's not going to be moved. I don't see a world in which Minnesota feels like they are obligated to actually move him. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if Anthony Edwards never left Minnesota for his entire career. I will say Bill Simmons did bounce back from NBA Central, and it was pretty funny. He did subtweet them, or quote tweet them, I should say, saying having NBA Central recap excuse me, I couldn't read it. NBA Central recap your pod is like reading a transcript from a drunk courtroom stenographer, excuse me. That was hysterical from Bill Simmons, bouncing back like, hey man, I was kind of laying it out there for everyone else to really jump at and break down, in the sense that when are we going to start seeing it? Like, why don't you throw out the graphic of Ant in a Miami Heat jersey playing alongside Bam Adebayo and Khalil Ware or something, rather than taking something and not and leaving out the beginning of that quote. But again, it was a very funny quote from Bill Simmons, bouncing back at NBA Central, saying having NBA Central recap your pod is like reading a transcript from a drunk courtroom stenographer. So again, a very, very, very funny clapback from Bill Simmons. But again, a very it's going to be a fun conversation to be had, but again, it's going to be very far-fetched in my opinion. I don't believe Anthony Edwards is going to be moved in his career until he maybe hits the free agent market, if Minnesota doesn't extend him with 2 or 3 years left on his deal that he's currently getting. Again, I would love to see him playing in Miami, but it is a very, very far-fetched idea. Let me know down in the comments, what do you guys think? Would you guys, hypothetical, would you guys enjoy seeing Anthony Edwards playing in a Miami Heat jersey? Would that be something you guys would love to see? Do you think if you could pick anyone in the league out of that crop of players, when it comes to LeBron, Steph, Ant Edwards, Jalen Brunson, Jason Tatum, whoever you may think as the top of the echelon, Giannis, whoever it may be, Victor Wembanyama, another young piece that you would love to have, if you could pick anyone, who would you put on this Miami Heat team? But again, that'll be it for this episode of Heat. I just had to break it all down for you guys, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Team USA plays Serbia at 3 o'clock, so expect a breakdown of another great BAM game. So I'll see you guys on the next one.